Geminis, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for the 7th through the 13th of November 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you want to be watching this for the correct sign. All right, so Gemini, this week we have a lot of planets changing sign. We've got Mars going into your 8th house right at the beginning of the week, and Venus going into your 7th at the beginning as well. And later in the week, your ruler Mercury is going to be going into your 6th house. So with all these planets changing, this is basically a week where things are shifting. And involving this Mars, we'll talk about them one by one here. Mars going into your 8th is suggesting that there's this new form of motivation, this new shift of motivation, new shift of desire. And I think it's about connecting to what really matters in life. You know, this is the 8th house. It's about a deeper connection with life, having intimacy with life, openness with life. And this naturally will be openness and intimacy with yourself and also with your relationships as well. But it does take a willingness to go beyond the veil, to dive deep. It's an excellent time for understanding more about yourself psychologically, spiritually, you could say, doing deep research, deep investigation with yourself, and just in general, it does make it a good time for deep research. Maybe it's through your work. In fact, Mars does rule your 6th house, which is about your work, is about your daily routine, and in the 8th could mean that, yes, you could be using this time period to really dive deep with the work, dive deep with the routine, and really uncover the truth, and and to see things beyond the veil. Now, the other side to this is actually the 11th house, which is Mars ruling Aries over there, which is suggesting that maybe your aspirations can be deeper. In terms of your future things, the things you want to pursue, your hopes and wishes and all this, maybe there's something more to it all. Maybe there's a deeper connection to it that you can certainly be accessing at the moment. So, great source of motivation and drive here for everything that goes beyond the surface level of things. Now, Venus going into your 7th house creates a bit of lighter side, in fact, to your relationships. I think you could be enjoying relationships for about the next month and a half with Venus here. This has been a big area of change for you. Pluto's been helping you transform some past patterns, some unhealthy things perhaps with relationships over the past many years. But now Venus coming in here can lighten this up a bit. I think you could be enjoying a bit of those one-to-one connections. Venus does rule your 5th house, so maybe expressing yourself a bit more in relationships or enjoying a bit of fun, playfulness, lightheartedness, and a bit of easygoingness. Venus does rule your 12th also. So that's Venus. And let's go and look at the beginning of the week involving these aspects. The Sun is going to be sextiling Pluto on Monday. And so this is suggesting that this whole cycle, this whole lunar cycle of this 30 days, and this started about a week or two ago, has really been emphasizing your self-expression. And so with the Sun here in the 5th, it's still an excellent time to be focused on what gives you passion, what gives you enjoyment, and just all in all expressing yourself, right? And through that, you're gaining energy, gaining prana. It's communicative oftentimes because the Sun does rule your 3rd. Makes it a good time for reading, writing creatively, speaking creatively, passionately. And with the sextile with Pluto at the beginning of the week, maybe it's coming through those relationships or with those changes that have happened with your view of relationships or others, and that kind of a thing. It's supporting this self-expression. So good positive energy with that. In fact, I do want to say that this is a culminating week. We're going to have a full moon on Monday the following week. And so as the week unfolds, things are culminating with that self-expression. There's more momentum with it. There's more awareness about it. A lot of it is cultivating what you may have started recently with your home and family life as well, or your roots. Understanding more about where you come from, who you are. Some of you changing location or, really establishing yourself in some way. And so that's positive. That's still unfolding for you. And over the week's end, it could be a culmination of those two areas. And let's not forget Jupiter's in your 4th house, which means there's opportunities, a bit of luck when it comes to these roots, home, family, health even. Good time for that. And just all in all, understanding more about where you come from. Now, the full moon is going to be right on the cusp, I do want to mention, between your 11th and your 12th. So, particularly over this weekend, It's a high point of examining your aspirations. How are your hopes and wishes that maybe you started 6 months ago? How are your aspirations going? What's working, what's not? What can you continue to put energy into in that area? And involving the 12th, where you can have a bit of peace and tranquility in your life, I think, and relax, go with the flow, accept things. And I think that's a very positive force also over the weekend. So I wanted to mention that because that's the whole lunar cycle. And as things unfold, I think there'll be a continuation with those matters. Now, as you can see here, Neptune is going to be very close to the South Node this week. They're going to go exact next week on the 17th. This is a very important conjunction, collectively speaking. And so for you, this is in your 9th house. So it's a great week, again, especially over the weekend, as the week unfolds, about asking yourself if there's any unhealthy things, any past patterns, relating to your adventurous side. Okay, this is the 9th house. Or relating to your belief systems, right? Maybe there's some ideals, maybe there's some, oftentimes with Neptune, a bit of, like a dreaminess, like a fantasy almost, about what's possible. And so this has all been going through this cleansing, this releasing, this past these past energies sort of leaving, so you can bring more balance into this area, so you can have a healthy sense of adventure, you can have a healthy worldview and a healthy belief system. But this is suggesting that there might be some past things, some old patterns that might be holding you back here. And so it's a good week to examine that, good week to see if there is any imbalances with that, with those belief systems, with that adventurous side, and letting anything go that is no longer serving you there. And this is so you can really get into the practical side of things. The North Node in the 3rd house is about this time period, and really for the next year plus, for you to be really getting into the practical. This is the left side of the brain. This is about what works, what functions, how you can take a lot of these belief systems, this theoretical stuff, or even philosophical or spiritual stuff, but actually put it into some use, into something practical, into something real. Scientific, rational, that kind of a thing. And if it's in your everyday level, just getting perhaps a bit more practical with reading, writing. It's an excellent time for learning right now, practical type of learning, and anything that involves communication, learning about that as well. So that's the balance between the North and South nodes that, like I said, it's kind of a backdrop. It's going to go exact next week, but I did want to mention that. Now, the most important thing I would say is that your ruler is going to be shifting houses here on Saturday. And so this is going to be going into your 6th house. I think there's going to be an extra emphasis going into next week on your work, maybe on your self-improvement, your diet, your regimens. It's really an excellent time for that. This has already been a serious area because you've had Saturn in the 6th, helping you really get disciplined and grounded and mature, so to speak, when it comes to your self-improvement and improving your life and these types of matters. So now your ruler going into here, placing an emphasis on that. Really good time for learning about that, everyday stuff. This is your chart ruler, so it's improving you, maybe improving things around the home or family. Again, learning about your past is a big thing with that too. But yeah, Mercury in the 6th, good for improving things, and I would say particularly yourself. So that's the shift there, and this weekend could be rejuvenating. The sun does trine up to Chiron, so there's a bit of refreshingness. Maybe it's about the self-expression, maybe it's about the career. It could be some healing taking place with that. But again, this is all part of this whole lunar cycle, which is you doing things because you're passionate about it, you enjoy it, and it's really helping you express yourself. All right, Gemini, so the sort of most important stuff this week to narrow this in and to simplify this whole stuff is really the fact that things are shifting. I think it's a great week to get deep. I think it's a great week for relationships, for enjoying those, and this culminating week of your self-expression, your creative side, and again, those roots, learning about that. Should be some positive energy with that. And and then this shift into your 6th, about really getting into the routine, self-improvement, diet, regimens, all that, going into next week. All right, Gemini, so have a fantastic one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.